It's my birthday weekend, and I had an opportunity to clean out my home office. And I came across this old photo of me and my best friend. And besides getting those warm feelings that you get when you look back to a cool moment in your life, I think that Marcelo, that 8-year-old kid who was still figuring stuff out in the second or third grade, um, I'm pretty sure that my 8-year-old self will be pretty proud of me in present day. Besides achieving a lot of firsts for my family, I also found my voice as a person who chose finance as his path to find his purpose in helping others in business and commercial real estate. And as I was cleaning my office, I knew the topic I was mulling for today's episode already, but I threw on Netflix and put on an old movie called Chef as I was cleaning around. Famous movie from 10 years ago, Jon Favreau, John Leguizamo, Scarlett Johansson, Sofia Vergara, Oliver Platt, lots of other greats are in the movie. And I know I'm not going to give out any spoilers, as it's an old movie, right? But it is a story of a chef who really loves what he does.
Well, be an artist on your own time.
Listen to me.
No sweetbreads, no calves brains.
I'm not cooking sweetbreads. Listen to me. The kitchen is my domain. That was our deal.
I don't give a what the deal was. The deal is now changed. Either you stay or you go. It's up to you. End of discussion.
But he hates the environment he is in with his partner who owns the restaurant. And so he quits, he gets a food truck, he finds happiness, and everybody lives happily ever after, right? And that actually gave me the inspiration to dive straight into today's topic, which is whether you should work alone or should you bring in a partner or an investor for your business. Now, this could be for an idea that you have in your journal, the back of a napkin, or you're already generating a healthy amount of revenue each month, but you're thinking about how you want to scale because you know there are things that you're not very good at or that you just don't like to do. And I've been on both sides of that fence. I've managed up to 35 employees, and I've also worked as a solopreneur, and now I have a small staff and a good network of consultants who bring business that we collaborate on. And it's a very clean relationship. We split things in a certain way based on the agreement that we come to. And for me, this is working. But I have other things in my vision board that I know are going to require either outside funds or somebody else to help me bring that dream alive. So here's the big question you need to ask yourself. Do you want 100% of a traumatic train crash like you see on YouTube? Or do you want 50% of a business that you enjoy? So the first thing that we're going to talk about is, how do we find the right business partner, right? So first, let's talk about finding that. How do you do that? And when I think about this, this is not unlike marriage. You will spend a lot of time with this person on the phone, in the office, visiting clients, talking shop, and even interacting with your family. So they have to fit. And so one of the things I would say is that you have to identify your needs. Okay? Think about what you love to do and what you have to do. The perfect partner or co-founder is someone who complements your skills and interests. So if you're great at being in the background, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and you're not the best being in the front man or person, the show person, and that other person is, that could be a fit. Another thing to think about is, your shared values. Finding someone who shares your code of ethics and integrity is crucial. Like I said, this relationship is like a marriage, so it requires trust and mutual respect. Right now, my daughter is a senior in high school. She just graduated, and we're getting ready for that move to be on campus with the housing. And talk about experience in finding a roommate. I mean, the questionnaire that they get through to help you find the right person. Are you clean? Do you shower at least once a day? Are you religious? Do you mind if the person vapes? I mean, there's really, at first the questions were kind of like, holy moly, this is pretty personal. But when you think about it, like those are good questions to really figure out, do you have those shared values in terms of making it a fit? And so I think what I liked about those questions and what I like about finding the right business partner is that you have to be specific, right? Be clear about what you want in a partner, because if you can't define it, then you're not going to find it. And one thing that I'm learning is, having worked in relationships or partnerships that did not work out and ones that have worked out beautifully, is that you have to test. Got to test the partnership. And it's not about, can you type 120 words a minute? It's about asking them very difficult questions to help you evaluate if you're making the right decision. So I think about accountability, about conflict resolution, long-term vision, handling mistakes. The more open-ended questions that you ask, the better you're going to get to know this person. So it's going to be those open-ended questions that really allow the person to share stories with you and be honest about how things didn't go well in maybe their previous partnership, and how they've learned from that, or have they not. Maybe they're still carrying something that tells you, hey, maybe this person isn't as mature as I thought they were. So those are, I think, some good ideas for finding the next business partner. But what about if you think you need an outside investor? There we go. So let's discuss that. What should that look like? So one of the things I would think about is you have to assess the need. Do you actually need an investor, or can you bootstrap your business? Investors bring money, but they also bring expectations and they bring control. And so if you're going to do that, then you have to evaluate their value. Investors should bring more than money. They should offer advice. They should open their Rolodex or their LinkedIn, their network, their connections, and their credibility. And one of the ways to do that is to look at their past investments and speak to the companies they've invested in. What were they like? Were they great to work with, or was like, wow, we're really happy that we're no longer working with that person, right? So that's a good thing to think about, is like what is previous behavior? And like I said, nothing is forever. People learn, people grow, hopefully. So does that match with the questions you were asking to test the partnership? I think those, whether you're looking for a partner or you're looking for an investor, those are worthy questions to ask, those open-ended questions to figure out the next fit, right? And so when it comes to, I think, finding the right fit, the more traction your business has, right? So if it's just an idea you have in your head, or if you're already generating revenue, then it's going to be easier to attract investors if it's the latter. Ideas alone, you're probably going to have to give up more equity, right? Like, you've got this fantastic idea for flying cars, but you just haven't quite figured out the technology. Well, if that person's writing the check and they've got to open doors to get you to talk to people at NASA and Tesla and all these different places that maybe have things going on, you probably have to give a lot of your ownership in order to make it happen, right? So we've talked about partners, right? We've talked about the investors. There's other things, other ways to find that right investor, and that could be your own network, right? Or referrals. You got to use your network. Now, your friends and family might not have money. And in fact, you also have to learn not to take things personally, because, let's say, for example, I've launched Friday Formula a year and a half ago, and I don't have a ton of viewers. I don't have a ton of views, but it has worked out very well for me in terms of helping me find my voice, in terms of helping me figure out some things that I do and do not like to do. And so sometimes you think like, wow, only so many people have liked my channel or liked my video. And it's the same thing when it comes to asking for somebody to open their pocketbook and say, hey, can you write me a check for $5 or $10 or $15 or $25,000? And when they say no, it's like, wow, I thought you were my friend. I thought you were my family, right? But sometimes it just can be like they just don't have the money. They're not really qualified because maybe they just don't feel they can, but they can introduce you to potential investors. And so what kind of investors are there? Well, one is the angel, right? The angel investor. You don't want to just ask for money. Oftentimes what you want to do is you want to ask for help or ask for guidance. They want to see you succeed. And so sometimes asking for their help or opinion before asking for money is a good way to get a feel if they're the right fit for what you need. Because how they respond to that will tell you how they will behave as the relationship progresses if you choose to press forward. Another resource could be a family office or even venture capital. The two are a little distinct, Family offices often have what they are called patient capital, and that means that they don't need to generate a specific return like a venture capitalist does, because a venture capitalist always out there raising money, and they're saying, we're going to find the next big thing, and we're going to generate 2x, 3x, 4x returns. We're going to hit these home runs, right? So they have a very specific timeline in terms of how they want to show success to their investors, where maybe a family office is already successful, but they want to see something improve. They want to be that family office or investor that says, we really want to see a reduction in fossil fuels, and so we were all in on electric vehicles. So if you're in that space, you're going to get traction with that type of family office because there's a match in terms of your ethics and because of what you believe in. And so you want to make sure that these are for businesses with proven success and the capital to scale. Make sure that they actually have the funds and are not just raising them. That's really specific for the venture capitalists. So you got your family office, your VCs, your angel investors, and there's other funding options. I think that one that gets overlooked a lot is your brand partners. Or even your vendors. I've actually done this. Your existing clients can sometimes be your biggest supporters. When you go in, and I've gone in and looked at my clients and their client list and their database of their vendors to see what they do. And what you find out is that it's often complementary. You can be somewhat speculative because they know you're going to use them for the materials, right? Or parts that you need to build the product. So think about all those EV manufacturers that have gone bankrupt recently. All those vendors who may still be wanting to build parts for electric vehicles. And let's say you're the guy or girl who has the next idea for the EV that's going to work just right. It's likely you might find a worthy partner in there if you were in a similar business or had the next generation idea for charging stations or something in that field. They want to see you succeed too because it benefits them as well. And one that you've probably heard of, but what I like about it is crowdfunding is you can actually figure out a way to determine if you actually have an audience for your product. I've written 2 books that I have not released yet, and it's because I know that oftentimes books don't make money. And so I think about, well, if I'm going to release this book, I don't want it just to be another thing that shows up on Amazon and it's number 10,000 on the bestseller list. I really want it to be of value. So do I give it away? Do I just use it as a showpiece when I go speak at public events? I'm going to go speak at certain trade shows or something like that, or I'm going to speak at my alma mater. Do I just give the book away, or do I charge $29.99 for the book? And so crowdfunding could be a way to sell your product ahead of time without giving away that equity, which is the most expensive form of capital there is, and even more expensive than debt. And so it's also a great way to validate your market. So I've got my book. If you've watched my videos, we launched a platform called Deal Doula, which helps business owners get past that. If they're stuck, if they need to do a financial gut check, we're providing them this type of resource, educational resource to learn how to scale, to learn how to duplicate themselves. And then we launched something called Dispute Doctor, which is a mediation platform. And I've got some really good ideas for that in terms of turning that into something more than just a service that I provide for my clients. So, should you go it alone, or should you seek a partner or an investor? And as you can see, it depends on your situation and your goal. So evaluate your needs, be clear about what you want, and choose the path that aligns with your long-term vision. If you see my other videos, I don't believe there's such a thing as a work-life balance. Instead, you match your life with the right controls to succeed in all aspects. So if you need more personalized coaching, click on the link below and book a session with me. Thanks so much for tuning into Friday Formula. If you're wondering whether to use a business plan or a mind map, watch this video to find out.